Hello again, everyone. This is Cody Hart, and today is April 19th, and I'm providing this video as an update into my audit of the 2020 election. As a lot of people in Skagit County found out last Friday, I have released a list that has been circulating the county and catching a lot of people's attention. This list I gathered through my analysis of the state election data that showed me some very questionable locations that ballots were picked up. Specifically, I found that people who lived geographically tens of miles, 30, 40 miles away from the city of Anacortes had inexplicably had their ballots picked up in Anacortes. And while I suspect that some of them are legitimate, when I was looking at the data, it just didn't make sense to me on the magnitude of it. Now, I posted the article with an explanation and with the data list and the list of people on my website. So I'm going to walk everyone through it and go through the process so you can check for yourself and kind of give you my feedback on where I think this is headed. Okay, so for everything we're going to talk over today, I posted the article on Friday to my website at codyhart.org, and you'll find it in there as the most recent blog article that I issued on the 16th. So if you want to find it, a written description of what we're going to talk about, that's where you'll find it. And in here, I explained to people that I use the CSV data to create a list. So I'll briefly go over this, but I'll remind everyone in the previous video, I go into some great detail on how you can retrieve this data yourself and organize it, but I'll briefly go over it today for those who haven't seen it. So the CSV file, comma separated value data, is available for all of the election data, all of the elections for the last couple of years in the state of Washington. So you'll go to the Secretary's website. You're going to need to find the link to election results and voter pamphlets. And I am here to talk about the 2020 results. And you want, again, the data. So when you open it up, there's a number of zip files. And Skagit County is in here. And it'll open up for most people as an Excel format file. Now, I've formatted it already to look like this. So when you open up, you'll need to make sure you get Skagit County data. I've gotten rid of some of the things here just for the internet distribution, but this is the list. So on this list, you will see there are a lot of columns, and one of them on the very far right, you will see the return method, return location. And so we're going to save some time here. So if you know how to filter things, if you want to see how I do it, this is how I did it. So first thing, we only want drop boxes. So that's all I was worried about. We also, I was only really worried about the votes that were actually, or I should say the ballots that were actually accepted. So the ballot status is accepted. Okay. So right away we start seeing here, okay, return location, and I see this is in here. At some point, I was looking at this, and it did take quite a while for me to see something that kind of bothered me, and I decided to organize it and kind of look at it in groups. And just by happenstance, which seems to be how I find these things, I came across this group here that, because of what I did, I highlighted it red. I kept finding Anacortes Library as the return location for people who lived in Mount Vernon. And then I realized, what in the world's going on here? Cedar-Woolley, and the magnitude of what I was finding was immense. So I pondered this for quite a while. And the article, it saves everyone the time of having to organize all this. You'll see I have a clickable link PDF with suspected ballots collected in the Anacortes drop boxes. So again, these are drop box pickups from the county elections officials. And when you look at it, you realize a few things that, hey, people in Anacortes, it makes sense. You pick them up, they drop their ballot off in an Anacortes drop box. You have other people, Burlington. So it's not, this is an inconsistency that makes no sense because it's done a certain way for a reason to keep track of where the election officials are picking up their ballots. And for the most part, they do coincide. But when I saw the magnitude of them, and again, the magnitude is very large, I realized this is just outside of what I should accept as a normal, viable, legitimate return process and the numbers. Again, these are over 1,000. And so when I looked at them all, I had to really think about how I was going to distribute them. And I decided, because of the restrictions the Governor Inslee and his infinite wisdom has placed upon us, that has stopped a lot of people like me from being able to get FaceTime, face-to-face interactions with people because of the COVID restrictions, I had decided that I was going to go for it. I felt good about my analysis. Obviously, there's more to it than what I went over, but in short, I felt there is no way that this is legitimate. There's no way all these people from Mount Vernon and Cedar-Woolley and Burlington drove over to Anacortes to drop off their ballot box, which is, it's an extra 30 to 50 minutes, depending on traffic, to get over there. Especially some people up in Clear Lake or Concrete. So I identified this and I distributed the list and I felt I was right. And immediately I started getting responses from people who confirmed they absolutely did not drop their ballot off in Anacortes. They dropped it off in Cedar-Woolley. They dropped it off in LaConner or Burlington, but the state records are showing us where the state election officials pick them up. So what now? So I would start by asking everybody who is on the list, who sees their name on here, to first verify for yourself. I've shown you how through the Secretary's website to verify it. And I suspect, I'm not claiming to be 100% on this list, I believe it's going to be overwhelmingly accurate. And so for after you've checked it, I would say, what is the next thing I would do? I would go to the people who are supposed to be able to answer this. So you're a voter in Skagit County. You know for a fact you did not drop your ballot off in Anacortes. Well, let me tell you who's in charge of it. The auditor's office runs the elections in this county, and Sandra Perkins is your elected official for now. And so she's the one that you should be asking, her office. I doubt you'll get her on the phone, but ask her why your ballot ended up in a city 30 miles away in a drop box that you never put it in, and how come that happened. What happened to your ballot between those two cities? Did anyone do anything to your ballot? How can you check to find out and make sure that your vote actually counted and people didn't just replace your ballot, replace your vote altogether and give you no voice in this election? So that's what I would do. I also talk about it in the article that I would do a little bit further. I really think that you should make sure you let your local government know what's going on here. This is 1,000 Skagitonians, that this one list, and I'm one person. I'm sure there's more things out there, but I've already shown people that we have major issues with how elections are ran in Washington State. Skagit County elections is under a lot of scrutiny, legal scrutiny, and now we have more evidence that our votes didn't count. Somebody was tampering with our ballots. We don't know what happened, and I think we have a right for our elected officials to act on our behalf and look into this and demand they represent you. With that said, I would like to remind everyone that tampering with your vote, your ballot, is a crime. It's a felony. and people go to prison for that. And if you don't report it, then I guess you didn't care how that person chose to vote for you if somebody tampered with your ballot, as I suspect happened hundreds, if not over 1,000 times with this group of people. So that's where I'm at with this. And I hope everyone understands that it's up to you. The sooner that we take this on and we face this challenge, the sooner we're going to get over it. The sooner we're going to fix these problems. And so I hope that you guys believe the way I do in democracy, and it's worth fighting for, and it's worth fixing these problems, because there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse to find out we have 1,000 people whose ballots, when they live 30, 40 miles away, when they're confirming every day now, I'm getting confirmation these people said, I absolutely did not drop my ballot off in Anacortes. I live in Mount Vernon. I dropped it off in Mount Vernon. I live in Cedar-Rowley. I know where I dropped it off because I only drop it off in one place. I only go to Anacortes once a year. I didn't go to drop off my ballot. So I hope everyone takes this as serious as I do. And I hope everyone shares this, because this is proof, once more, unfortunately, proof of over 1,000 people who I believe ballots disappeared in the middle of the election and then reappeared in a different city than those people live in. And then suddenly, we're getting the kind of people in office that may not represent what we really voted for. So that's my update for today, and I hope everyone does what they can to spread the word on this, get the word out, and if you know someone on the list, let them know. Let them know their vote may not have counted, and to tell them, ask our elected officials, ask them, and make them answer it, because we deserve an answer to this.